What's going on, y'all? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It is October 20th, 2025. Y'all know why we're here. We're going to recap episode 3 of season 10 of Real Housewives of Potomac. And this week we actually got taglines. So before I get into the review, I'm going to go over the taglines. But before I do that, I'm just going to go over some housekeeping rules. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And additionally, put that notification bell on after you subscribe. That way you can be notified once I upload videos, okay? Now, the taglines. Let's go ahead and get into those, shall we? And I do have 3 that are, I wouldn't say favorite, but I lean towards 3 of those, and they're from 3 unlikely people. So I'll let you know that after I read them. All right, so of course, Queen Giselle, she starts. Her tagline is, when the nest is empty, it's time for naked, grown, and sexy. All right, fitting, right? Fitting for her season, given that all her girls just went to college. I get it. We still ain't seeing no man on the show, but that's a separate thing. All right, Wendy. I put the high in higher education. It's a play on her business with her husband, Happy Eddie, cannabis business. I get it. Stacy, some people believe the lies, but still I rise. Okay, Stacy Angelo, I got you. Kiarna, beauty is my business, but getting you together is my specialty. Okay, it's a play on her because, she works in the, I think it's the med spa industry, the beauty industry, but she owns a med spa. So I can dig it. Tia, you can only clutch pearls if you have them, and honey, I have loads. Okay, it's playing on the, well-to-do, I come from prim and proper privilege. So, of course, she's going to have the pearls. Those are indicative of a lady. Side note, my daughter is a part of a program called Pearls at her school. It's a club that actually teaches young ladies to be dignified ladies of society. So, it's pretty cute. Pretty cute. Angel. Hell hath no fury like an angel scorned. Okay, I get it. Nice little play on, her name being Angel, which represents the heavens. And then hell represents the opposite of heaven. So I can go with that. I can dig it. And then we get Ashley. Ashley. This cherry blossom is ready for her second bloom. Okay, I get it. Cherry blossom, it's associated with Potomac. This is your second bloom. Cute. Now, as far as my top 3, you're probably going to be shocked. I'll start with the number 3. Number 3 is actually Stacy's. I put her in 3rd place of my top 3. And I like it because I guess at the reunion last year, she said that quote, and it's a quote by Maya Angelou, Still I Rise. And so she pulled that into her tagline, because everyone's trying to go against her, and, that lawsuit that person spoke to Giselle and Ashley about when they were at the event, the BET Awards or whatever. Those, and then more lies coming out. TJ lying, she's owning her tea and slapping you in the face with it with a clever little tagline. So I like it. Number 2, hell hath no fury like an angel scorned. I thought that was so cute because it's like a woman scorned, angel scorned, hell, heaven, angel, all of that. Plus, watching tonight's episode, I do see the potential for Angel to bubble up and boil over throughout the season. So we're going to see what that looks like because, man, when I say they was whacking the hell out of her this episode, they were. She got it from all angles. I felt so bad. But she brought it on herself. And then the first one, number 1, surprisingly, is Kiarna's. Now, she ain't my favorite, but that tagline was, I like it. I like a little one-liner. Beauty is my business, but getting you together is my specialty. I like it. I like it. That's right. Straight to the point. Very concise. Shows what she's going to be about this season. And I would actually use that. Like, I would use something like, compensation is my business, but wrapping you up in a package is my specialty. I don't know. Oh no, total rewards is my business, but wrapping you up in a package is my specialty. That would probably be something like that, because I work in total rewards as a compensation analyst. So I like when someone can like play on things that's going on in their life and like, you know, tie it to their profession. You get the point. Let's move on to the episode recap, right? But those are the taglines. So episode. I got my notes, so don't be giving me a hard time. I will be looking down at them. All right. Episode starts out with two scenes. One, we got Angel talking with her husband about the budget for the rebuild. The other one, we got Ashley working out. She's taking a spin class with a full face of makeup and a glamour wig, but you know, it's what we do. You know, she's a divorcee now, so that's what she do. And then you get Stacy and her daughter. Her daughter is so cute. Stacy reminds me of, like, I'm not as polished as Stacy, but the situation is similar. My late husband was a white man too. My daughter is biracial, and she is super involved in like different activities. She actually just signed up with a modeling agency, a modeling school, and then she's, like I said, she's a part of Pearl. She joined choir. So I was just watching, like, you know, Stacy being hands-on with her daughter being super involved herself and just super cute and like super confident in what she's doing. And then Stacy also said how her daughter is very smart. She doesn't want to tell her that her father, well, her ex-husband, which is her daughter's father, and her are thinking about reconciling, but she says her daughter is so smart, she's probably picking up on, you know, the energy that they have. Man, my daughter is smart too, so I think when you know your child is smart, it's best to give them the information as best as they can handle it versus spring it on them unexpectedly, because regardless of how you present it, they're going to be impacted by whatever change it is. So you may as well, you know, be honest with them about it. So I don't know, Stacey, maybe you know, this was filmed a year ago, so I'm sure a lot has happened since then. But if it were up to me, I just would have told her straight up. It's not like it's some random dude, it's her father, so. All right, so then we have Kiana and Wendy. Now this scene, Okay, so let me see. Let me read through this real quick. Yeah, I'm not gonna have to have all the notes for this part because I remember it like clear as day. Well, almost. So they're meeting up at the, I guess the riverfront. Don't judge me. But anyway, they're meeting up. Kiana's already on edge, I could tell. Wendy's kind of walking up like, okay, you know, what's up? She even sits down. You can tell she's uncomfortable because, you know, she's still trying to figure out where is all of this coming from. Mind you, her outfit was really cute. And side note, I know a lot of stuff has come out about the SFOs, but this episode, I am going to try my hardest not to think about what's going on with her currently because Wendy was an MVP this episode. Like, I don't want to take away from her performance and her points given what's going on because she has some valid points throughout this episode. So let me preface it with that and continue to talk about their exchange. So they meet up. Kiana is so frustrating because I understand she may feel like she's got valid points in her arguments, right? Because she keeps bringing up how Wendy is condescending. She's not consistent with how she acts. Wendy brought up a point about, you know, last season, how she showed up for Kiana as a friend. Kiana says you only do that to make yourself look good. And I'm just like, and even Wendy kind of like, you know, helped me with this. She's like, now I got to question her friendship. She's never called me. She don't reach out to me. Also, Wendy is a mother and a wife. Kiana's single. Just mindset differences, you know, lifestyle differences. So of course there's going to be differences, right? Here's my thing. This is the issue I have with Kiana. And I mentioned this in my previous recap. You may feel like your argument with Wendy is valid, but the way you're presenting it to her, it negates your point because you're calling her out for not being a good friend, right? Or an inconsistent friend. Well, if you're bringing up all of these off-camera experiences on camera, how do you think that is making you look to a person that can really see what's going on? Because I'm not the only person that's recapping this season that sees it's actually Kiarna more or less probably deflecting from actually owning how she feels about the Greg situation, so that no one asks her questions about it. She deflects and picks arguments elsewhere. Her true gripe is with that man of hers. Because like I said, I don't care how many points she brings up with Wendy. The way you're going about it is very immature. Very immature. In fact, Wendy even said it. She said the level of hand holding that Kiarna requires in this relationship, I'm too grown for it, basically. And I get that. This is also something that it kind of triggered me. And I'm sure I'm not alone on this point. And I'm about to go there. I'm about to go there. So I make no issue in admitting I'm from the hood, okay? I was raised on the south side of Chicago from the ages of 10 to 18 after living in Ohio up until the age of 10. So I spent my formative years, those years where you make that imprint on you, in the hood on the south side of Chicago. So by the time I got to Southern California, because that's where I lived before I moved to Atlanta, I was in Southern California from the ages of 18 to 37. So that's pretty much metaphysically who I became, but my essence was always south side of Chicago. I say that because I had a little hood in me too. And to a degree, I still have a little hood in me. However, I have also wanted to, I say, gentrify myself, grow, develop, become a little bit more professional, a little bit more successful, step outside of certain mindsets. You see where I'm going with this, right? And like I said, I'm going to judge Wendy not off of what's going on right now. I'm judging in real time. So I'm watching this as if the news never came out about Wendy. Okay, so we're not going to think about the fraud or any of it. We're just going to think about accomplishments and the caliber of women you see on this screen. What I saw was Wendy, who is the representation of going up within a marginalized group. You got Kiarna. She's gone up in her own way, but she's gone up only to a certain level. So Wendy has gotten the education, she's gotten the life experience, she's gotten the exposure to be on a higher vibration. Whereas Kiarna has success, but monetarily. I don't know what her internal growth looks like. What I see is a woman who is insecure about where she is in life. So she's projecting on to what she perceives to be the weakest link on the cast. Because she's not, Kiarna, I'm saying. Kiarna's not going to go after Ashley. She's not going to go after Giselle. She will try Angel, and we saw this. Tia, still getting a no. Probably not going to test her just yet. Who else is on there? Stacy. Kiarna's already going after Stacy too. You see what I'm saying? So I see Kiarna trying to earn her way, and she's attacking who she feels is the weakest link, which is Wendy and Stacy. Because think about it. Even though Wendy and, the veterans have made up, Wendy is the newest of one of the veterans. So it's like easy for me to go after her. And she was probably told by either Ashley or Giselle to do it. Because we see now that Ashley still has a chip on her shoulder towards Wendy. And Giselle, you never really know what her right and her left hand is doing. But as time goes on, you can kind of see. And who's to say Giselle didn't plant that seed in Kiarna's mind? Because Kiarna is clearly weak in the mind, in my opinion. Very malleable. So, I was watching because I was looking at how they communicated within that conflict, right? And you saw like Wendy's, I'm not going to say condescending or elitism, because I'm sorry, I do not like when Black people like Kiarna are always trying to pull down Black people like Wendy. And we're not a monolith, right? But they're doing it because they're not secure with where they are in life. So if you are a Black person that's acting like Wendy amongst somebody like Kiarna, of course Kiarna's gonna say shit like, you ain't real, you being phony, this. That triggers me so much. You're bougie, whatever. Because it's that old Negro versus new Negro. that is old as the day is long. You know how it is? Like where we try to pull each other down. You know, if somebody is feeling themselves a little bit too much, achieving too much, you always got one hater or a group of haters that's going to remind you that you black. And I feel like that's what I'm getting from Kiana towards Wendy too, in addition to her being an easy target. I feel like Kiana is one of those black people who, yeah, she's successful, but if you took away the things that have garnered her success, what else would she have? Whereas with Wendy, I mean, again, before everything that came out, at that time, if you took away her money, she still has a degree. She still has her commentator job. She still has her professor profession. Sorry. So Wendy could still be successful. So I was looking at Kiana like, girl, you acting like I said before, a petulant child, and she's kind of ratchet, ghetto, like the communication style. Wendy's a lot more sophisticated and diplomatic in how she speaks. I understand she's worked on the news networks, right? So that scene in particular was very triggering to me because I saw just two vibrational levels clashing. And I was so bothered by it. Shout out to you, Andrew Gabor. Shout out to you, Q the Content Guy. They're two YouTube creators because they said it best. Kiana is acting like a gutter snipe from the hood. I don't like it. I can't be around people like that. Their energy is bad. And it's funny because people will say, well, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Well, those are prime examples. You got those lower vibrational people trying to pull down the higher vibrational people. Get some Jesus in you. So I know I spent a lot of time on that scene because when I tell y'all I was triggered, because like I said, I've gone through that. I'm a girl from the hood, bringing myself up. But recently I've had to really remind myself to step away from people who no longer serve my vibrational level. And it's been hard because I do sometimes feel guilty because I feel like I'm judging them. But it's like, nah, if this person's going to always find issue with me being whatever, and then because they can't rationalize with it, they want to criticize me or pull me down with them, I don't want to be around them. And that's what I saw. I'm sorry. You could disagree, but that's what I saw. Even the way they ended the conversation, Kiana called herself keeping it real, talking mess, and Wendy's just laughing. She's like, girl, are you serious? Like, you know. And honestly, I think if Kiana would have switched it from being rah-rah and ratchet and not so aggressive, Wendy wouldn't have come off so condescending. But because Wendy's not going to go there in that moment with you, what else is she supposed to do? I would have been laughing too, like, girl, I don't want to disrespect you and walk off, but there's something going on with you. So anyway, that was one scene I spent about 10 minutes on. But yeah, triggered me. All right, so so now we get to Angel. She's telling a story about how when her and her husband first started dating, this was her mom had passed because her mom's been passed for 10 years. So she said the first time, I guess he came by the house, her mother had this thing about not wearing shoes in the house, right? So her husband, I think his name is Bobby, he goes into the house and he says, well, your mom ain't here no more. And she says, as soon as he said that, some wind gushed through the house and knocked papers off the table. That was like basically her mom letting him know, dude, don't come up in here disrespecting me. I don't play. And so, and even he said, he was like, I didn't know that she came with extra. Because he said at one point when that happened, he considered, you know, going forward with her if this was what he wanted to do, because he's like, I didn't know she came with extra people, meaning the spirit. So yeah, but that was fun. It wasn't funny, it was like, oh, so he came in kind of like, oh, I can change up the program, let me not respect what's going on. So I wonder how they dealt with that afterwards. Obviously they worked it out, you know, because they're married, but I was like, I don't know, man, that's a little arrogant for me. Then she was talking about the chin check comment because she's had time to reflect on it. And, you know, she's questioning Kiana now, like, why would Kiana use that reference, you know, to describe a friend? Regardless if it had violent connotation to it or not, you are still speaking about a friend. So why would you use it? So I understand Angel's concern with that, but as we will see later, Angel, you ain't handling it the right way either. I see why you and Kiarna are friends. You get your wires crossed. All right, so next scene, we got Jossie and Stacy. So I guess Jossie was a friend of last season. I didn't watch last season. But she's meeting Stacy for lunch. Jossie's preparing for her wedding. Jossie is well-to-do, so she comes from money. And so she's very, elegant in how she's, promoting it and, how she wants to plan it. She's going to have 2 dresses because she says she feels like a wedding is an opportunity for you to entertain your guests. So that's what she's going to do. She's going to be entertaining her guests. Okay, Miss Jossie. I think her name is Jazzy, but because she's, like I said, we're not a monolith. She's like, nah, you can call me Jossie. And I'm with it, All right, so y'all, I'm in my office. In my office, there are trees right there, so I can hear like the noises, and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell is that? I hope not this trying to come in here. Anyway, so they're talking about the upcoming Preakness events, which I believe is like the Kentucky Derby for Maryland. Sorry, there's a bug flying over here. And Stacy says how she was invited to a party hosted by Kiarna, and I think Wendy invited her to the party too. But she said she was surprised that Kiarna invited her, considering their what they're going through. And she also says that it's been hard to exist within the group because of the gang up from Giselle and Ashley. And then she points out the hypocrisy, which I pointed out before, and she's like, didn't Giselle get back with her husband? Yes, she did, Stacy. Exactly. So who is she to call you out? Didn't Ashley withhold information about her divorce? Yes, she did, Stacy. So who is she to call you out? So I'm glad that Stacy, who by the way is on it, was on point enough to highlight this in the season, the hypocrisy of Giselle and Ashley. Because again, like I said before, who are you to expect that and require that of her when you all know on this show, throughout this show, you guys have not represented yourselves accurately either. So good for you, Stacy. Stacy's gotten a fan out of me now. I don't agree with a lot of her antics, but when it comes down to like how she's moving on the show with the ladies, I'm all for it. Don't let these hoes play in your face. I don't care if you did come in season 9 and they're veterans. Do not let them play in your face. Take a note, Angel. Anyway. All right, so, now, Stacy highlights this. I want to speak on this because I'm 50-50, like I get both sides. So Stacy highlights how Giselle is speaking about, her being secretive, Stacy being secretive, not sharing her life and being honest. And then she brings up, that Giselle has a whole man that she's not showing on the show. So who is she to expect transparency from me and she's not giving it herself? Now, with that, I'll say this. I understand why Giselle safeguards her relationship. When she brought her man that she really loved, season 3, Sherman, she brought him on, and those women, they ruined her relationship essentially. Sherman could not handle the pressure from the show. But then now I go back. Giselle, you're actually the same woman that brought that type of dynamic onto the show. So you were toxically attacking other people's husbands, boyfriends, or whatever up until that point. Season 1, you were making comments about Eddie. Eddie being Sharice's husband that she was divorcing at the time. She made comments about that. She made comments about Michael. She made comments about Chris Samuels in the 2nd season. So there's a lead up. It's like, okay, you didn't think that, again, we all are under the sun. God has a way of teaching us a lesson. When we hurt other people, God will hurt us the same way. So you brought your man on season 3, and then that's what happened. So I think after that, Giselle learned the lesson not to bring her real relationships onto the show because she doesn't want it affected by the show. So while I understand Stacy's opportunity to highlight the hypocrisy within Giselle in that specific subject, I also understand Giselle's reluctancy to bring her man on the show. Sometimes 2 things can exist at once, right? And that's where we are on that. All right, so next scene is Tia at home with her kids and her husband. So her two oldest daughters, the baddies middle school edition, those two are a trip. Very opinionated, very outspoken, very this is how it goes. Yeah, you're the mom, but I'm in charge, kind of. I laugh because my daughter has a little bit of that fierceness in her. It's tricky when we're raising young girls, like young brown girls, because Tia mentioned how her mother was a stay-at-home mom and her mother was very no nonsense, right? And to the point where she felt like, you know, her voice, she didn't really have a voice growing up. So she decided in her parenting style that she would give a little bit more leeway and, you know, be a little bit more gentle in her parenting with her kids. But, you know, we're watching the kids and we're like, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe they just have strong personalities. I'm not going to necessarily say they're disrespectful to her, but I was like, I don't know, girl. Sometimes, because I soft parent with my daughter too, but I also take the approach of, like she said, sometimes you got to show them you're a little marginally insane so they know that you're willing to go there. So she says she does do that from time to time. And you do. You know, gentle parent don't mean pushover. So I thought that was funny how they were acting. I guess they were going out and she told them that they could have one friend over, and one of the daughters said she was going to have like 5 friends over, so they're going back and forth. The dad's like, what's the problem? Why are y'all arguing? That was a true family moment. So then Tia, she pulls her husband out. She's like, well, let's talk, because they're just talking about like their respective roles within the dynamic and like what they contribute. And the husband says that, you know, sometimes I need you to be a little bit more solid and stern. Like you'll set these boundaries, but then you break them, and then you'll like counter me in front of them. So we need to show more of a united front. I got that with her husband. I did. And sometimes that's hard. That's hard. Sometimes when you're a husband and wife, you got kids, you got so many roles within that little dynamic. So you've got partnership, right? Then you've got romantic relationship that you have to sustain. Then you've got your both, you know, sources of authority for these kids. So if you show cracks in any of that, that could disrupt the whole program, because those people are looking to you as a representative of strength and direction as to where the family is going to go. So you definitely got to be working on you two as a unit and having that united front and standing solid in front of the kids, because if you don't, it can cause discord within the palace, as Mama D says from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Shout out to you, girl. But it was a good conversation though, real healthy, because that happens every day to everyday people. All right, so now we get to this boutique scene. So we got Tia, Giselle, Angel, and then Wendy comes in afterwards. So so they're talking about the event that happened at Angel's house, the Tranquil event. And then Giselle thought she was gonna get a fast one. She told Tia, yeah, your outfit you had on was not the most fashionable. Tia shot it right back. She said, are you really curious? Like, I know you're not the one criticizing my fashions, because we all know Giselle. Like I said, I could count on one hand in these 10 seasons where she's gotten it right. So I was like, girl, Giselle, chill your ass out. Like, stop. But anyway. And then Angel. So Giselle tells Angel that her event wasn't that fun. She wants to have a do-over. She's going to take them on a trip to an island called Nevis, I think she said. And Giselle broke the fourth wall. She said, yeah, y'all didn't let me host since season 4. And that was one of the best trips we ever had, you know. But, you know, since Karen's in jail, I guess it's up to me to host now. Like, she's right. She hasn't hosted a trip since New Orleans. I was thinking, okay, so season 5, that was Ashley. They went to Spain. Season 6, I don't think they did an international trip. I think they just did local trips. And that was hosted by Wendy when they went to that house. And she told Giselle and Robin, you're going to bring your luggage. And then Candace hosted one in that season 2. Season 7, it was Miami. It was Mia. And I think Karen hosted a trip. Season 8, I didn't watch. I think it was Ashley. I remember them talking about a trip to Austin. And yeah, that's all I can remember. And then last season, if I can recall what they recalled on the recap, it was Wendy hosted a trip, I think, and that's all I can remember. So yeah, it has been a while since Giselle hosted a trip. So Angel asks Wendy about the conversation that they had with Kiarna. And so Wendy brought up that Kiarna was just being difficult and kind of like not trying to hear where she was coming from. Kiarna is adamant to Angel that she didn't say the chin check comment. So Wendy, everybody's like, but she did say it. She did. And Giselle's like, I'm not lying. So Angel mentions something, trying to kind of defend her stance, but then she's throwing her friend under the bus. She's saying, I don't understand why she would say something like that with such a violent reference, given what she's gone through in this group. We know what Kiarna's gone through in this group. It's a very sensitive topic. Kiarna got into a fight season 8 because she came in season 8 as a friend. And that's how she got her champagne flute and joined officially as a season 9 cast member. But that's a sensitive topic for Kiarna because it left her with the scar on her head. And I'm sure it caused some issue with her and her man because your woman's fighting on national television and you work in the psychology field. So it has a lot of layers of how it hurts Kiarna. So the fact that Angel brought that up, and again, this is both of them. You got Kiarna bringing up chin check, and then you got Angel bringing up that situation. It's like, are y'all letting this show get to y'all? Y'all might want to have a meeting of the minds so that you're better aligned, because we're not even 3 episodes in, and these women have cracked y'all relationship. 20 years, right? Get it together, y'all. I'm just saying. So, she says that maybe she's off because of that situation. I don't know if she was referencing like mental processing because she got hit upside the head, but I even thought that was shade. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how Angel and Kiarna end up in the relationship, because Angel's tagline, hell hath no fury like an angel scorned. I wonder if some of that fury is going to go towards Kiarna. We'll see. All right, so now we get to, I think this was the last scene. Yeah, it was, but I have a lot of notes because there was a lot going on. They had a scene at Kiarna's house, then they go into a Sprinter van. So they all meet up at Kiarna's house for their pregame before they go to the Preakness event, right? Kiarna's setting up, she's bubbling around. She tells Greg to go let her mother in. Her mother comes in, so cute, looking like the 7th housewife. 7? Hold on, how many taglines? Just gotta count. I told you I'm neurodivergent. You see the description on my channel, okay? So bear with me. But let me see. Okay, so Kiarna's mom would be the 8th housewife. But yeah, she looked cute, Nola. She looked cute. So she says, Kiarna, in reference to Greg, that Greg is showing up to be supportive, and she had to understand that the way his support shows up, she just has to understand that it looks different, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he is providing support. It just doesn't look the way that she expects it to look. I was kind of mixed with that, because on one hand, I do feel like you take your partner as they are, right? But on the other hand, I'm also mindful of the fact that you have 2 people who are independent coming together to be interdependent, and with that comes compromise. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe, this is Greg's way of compromising, showing support, because he doesn't like to be on camera, but he's showing up. And Kiarna, she's accepting that. So I don't know. I'm like, I hope Kiarna doesn't feel like she has to bend so much to accommodate Greg. Sorry, that bug. Because Greg has to bend a little bit to accommodate her as well. So we'll see how their relationship goes in the years to come, and if that works for them. All right, so Stacy arrives first. She's asking all these questions to Greg. Do you live here? So how often are you here? Like, she asked the same question twice because I get what she's saying. She's like, you bitches all up in my business. I'm gonna ask some questions too. And I love the way Stacey moves. She is so elegant, eloquent, classy, but it smacks you in the face with that shade. I love it. I love a girl that can get you with her mind and her words. I love a lady like that. I love a smart ass, nice, nasty bitch. May I strive to be like one. Not really, but no, I am one of those people that I believe in using your intellect. Like I said, I come from the hood, but I feel like I gain more using my intellect to get with you versus using my hands. Like I don't go there. Fighting is for the birds, and I'm not a bird. So I like that Stacey does what she does, because she says something later where I was like, God, I like her. How can you not like her? The girl has got it. You know, she's just that girl. So anyway. All right, so Kay's mom is out there quizzing Greg on how much he loves her daughter, you know, as she should. You know, I wish more parents asked the right questions. And then Giselle arrives and Kiana is like, what is going on with this outfit? I mean, come on, Kiana, it's Giselle. What did you expect? Okay. Like, everybody looked really nice with their fascinator, which is like a little cute little top hat to the side, and their dress, everything was coordinated. Giselle's, it just looked like she found a fascinator with the theme of her dress and threw it on. It just didn't look good on her. All right, so Stacey says that she's surprised that Giselle invited her on the trip. I mean, we'll see. Wendy arrives and she says, you know, being nice, nasty herself, of course I had to arrive. I had to come. I like a little nosh before the main event, which is my event. Because let me back up a little bit. So when I say my events, Kiana asked in that scene with her and Wendy if they could either host their event together. Wendy said, because Wendy was hosting a Preakness event too. So this is the pregame event. So Wendy said no, because she's already invited the First Lady of Maryland. The governor's wife is going to be attending this event. So she's not going to combine events or change her plans because Kiana wants to partner with her. And like I said before, two different calibers of women. You know, Kiana's fabulous, no doubt. But she's ghetto fabulous. And there's a time and a place. And more people need to understand that and stop taking things so personally. Sometimes things are a fit and sometimes things are not. Anyway. So, Angel comes in. Giselle comments on Angel's breast, says what's going on with her breast. She says it in her confessional, but then she says, no, take that out. Because she realizes you commented on another woman's body. Giselle, you had a season where you were blown up too. People talk about your stovepipe legs. So let's stop. Let's stop. And we all know that Angel just had a baby. I think she's got a 1-year-old. So she still has a lot of milk in her breast, and she's a busty girl. She's a curvy girl. She's got a nice body. And television adds weight. So she probably is a lot smaller than what she looks like on television. But the girl definitely got body, yaddy, yaddy. So Giselle, stop hating. Anyway, now they're all sitting at the table. So they all sit down to eat and congregate. And somehow it comes up about Stacey and Wendy having events on the same day. And, you know, Wendy not combining with Stacey. And then Kiana, ghetto fabulously, comes in. Well, you know, Wendy's always got to be, what does she say? First, better, best. I mean, I get where she was going with that. But again, two different levels, two vibrations. I get it. You got that hood person. Oh, you think you too good. Oh, you brand new. And I cannot stand a bitch like that. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't like hating ass, ghetto, ratchet ass bitches like that. I cannot stand it. I'm going to let it be known. Because like I said, I come from a place of, I know it. I was that girl. I was. But as you evolve in life, you have to change. And you can't be hating on a person that is doing better. Anyway, I don't know if I wish I could edit that part out. Just don't judge me once you get to that part. All right, so Stacy asks, what does this mean? The first, better, best comment. So Kiana trying to explain, and they're highlighting how, it does kind of come off that Wendy is condescending, but Kiana's approach to it is very immature, and it's not driving the point home. So it's like you're kind of constantly trying to create a fight where there isn't one. So it's not looking good. And so there's back and forth at the table. You got Wendy calling out Kiana's insecurities. She's like, you say I'm acting professor like, well, maybe you're bringing this up because you're insecure about the profession that you have in your life. And that's valid. I'm sorry. That is not condescending. That's not looking down. If someone's constantly trying to bring you down, then what are you supposed to do? You're like, oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. Nah, this ain't no passive agreement. Tell me what your issue is. The more I probe, the more I see that's a you thing. You listening with your triggers. You projecting your insecurities onto me. You need to get over it. Anyway, so then we get to Angel, because Angel gets brought up about the chin check comment. And when they were at the boutique, she was showing some energy of hostility towards Kiana, but when they're at this table, she's making it seem like she don't have an issue with Kiana. So then Wendy, just be a matter of fact, brings up, well, you didn't have this energy at the boutique, and it wasn't that Wendy is, trying to be problematic, but this is the name of the game. This is Housewives. This is what happens. You got to watch how you move, because every moment and how you move can come back at you at any moment. So if you do something, stand in it and then work it out. Now, if Kiana did not chin check her before, she sure chin checked her at this table, because what Kiana said, and I actually agreed with her on this. She said, well, I understand that she was looking right at Angel, looking past all the women, looking right at Angel. She said, I understand how the complications of this, meaning this show dynamic, these women, can heighten things, right? So I don't know what that conversation was like, but let that be the last time you have a conversation about it, so that it doesn't ruin our friendship. And I was with her on that. Because it's the same thing with Kiana. It's like, Kiana, you're not talking to Wendy about how you feel. Okay, well, Angel, you're not talking to Kiana about how you feel. So instead of talking to other people about it, do it a little bit more respectfully. Honor the friendship, maybe offline, but don't do it amongst other people, because it does inflate the conflicts when you don't settle it. See, that's why I like Housewives. It's basically a show about conflict and resolution. And you got some people who are good at it, and you got some people who are not so good at it. So I'll give Angel grace in that this is her first season. She's kind of just watching how everyone moves, her friend included. And so she's trying to find her footing. So I'm hoping that Angel will find her footing and start directing her energy towards the right person, because her getting so upset with Wendy, and it's like, you actually need to be more mad at Giselle. Giselle is the person that brought the whole chin check comment onto the forefront. So if you're going to have any smoke for anybody, it needs to be for Giselle. But of course, with Giselle being one of the originals and the queen bee, no less, who's really going to come after her? So that's why I like Karen, and I miss Candace's bravery in coming after Giselle, but sometimes Candace was a little too heavy. So that's why I like Karen, because Karen is probably one of the only ones that could really go toe-to-toe with Giselle, and everything is still good. It doesn't turn into this dark cloud. So, like I said, I understood, and I backed Karen on that statement, because she's right. So then she says that she always has Kay's back, and Kay's like, no, you want to have my back? Watch how you discuss what's going on with us in this group. But the same can be said to you, Kiana. So then Ashley comes in, because now Angel is getting upset with Wendy for calling her out. And Ashley's like, we just want to understand what was said and how it happened. And I'm like, Girl, you weren't even at the boutique, so we don't even know what happened. So how are you even going to chime in? But that's Ashley for you. That's Ashley's role. She's always opining and giving her opinion on things to like spice it up, even if she wasn't in the room. She did it season 6 when she brought her breast pump up to that lake house and got everything started with Wendy, Giselle, and Robin. So Ashley is just staying true to form. And so, oh yeah, so I already talked about that. That was a subtle fourth wall breaking when Kiana told Angel to pipe down. All right, so Angel is explaining though, because everyone's like, why are you bringing this up? You know, at the Tranquil party, you didn't seem to be so bothered by the whole chin checking of it all. But then Angel's like, because let's have some emotional intelligence here. I had a moment to sit with it and process it, and it didn't sit well with me. I understand that too. Sometimes, like when you're in the thick of something, you're not really feeling the impact of it until you had some time to step away and reflect. So I'll give her grace on that. But again, you on the show, girl. Buck up. Stand on how you move. You watching the players involved and move accordingly. And stand in whatever you do because we're watching you as an audience as well. But, you know, she's going to figure it out. All right, so Wendy says it's crazy how Angel flipped on her because, again, Angel started deflecting all that anger towards Wendy because she feels like Wendy was wrong for bringing up how her energy was different. No, Wendy is not wrong. You're wrong because you think Wendy is the weaker link and you can attack her, but you really need to be attacking Giselle. But again, I'm not going to repeat myself, okay? I said I'm not a bird, so I'm not going to be a parrot. All right, so now they get to the Sprinter van. Wendy gives a toast. Giselle says she wants to toast to Angel because that's what Giselle does because Angel seems upset. And then Angel says, I'm not upset. I'm angry. And she said, oh, okay. And then Angel says that she feels misunderstood in the group. She's saying this in her confessional. And no, it's not that you misunderstood, Angel. They're just playing with you. They're playing in your face. That's all that is. They honestly could care less about the drama between you and Kiana. But it sure makes for one hell of a storyline, right? So watch it. I hope this was a lesson to her in this episode. I expect nothing but better from this point, okay, Angel? All right, so now Kay says that regardless of how she's speaking on things, because she's explaining her position, and she says, you know, I speak aggressively, but I speak with love. You know, I try not to be too rah-rah or whatever. And then Stacy's like, well, you're aggressive with me, and she's right. Because Kiana has been like causing issue with her and Stacy, more so than Stacy with Kiana. So Stacy was right to call her out. Oh, you say you ain't aggressive, but every time I'm in a scene with you or around you, you want to come after me or attack me or ask me questions. And so Kiana says, she starts getting ratchet, you know, what them chicks do. And then she's like, you know what? This hoe over here or something, she says. And then Stacy, this is what I love. She said, now I'm a hoe? I'm a hoe now? Oh, she says, well, you know what? Let me just calm down or something like that because I don't want to get chin checked. And we know you're good for that. That was genius because she took 2 instances to smack Kiana back in the face with her own words. We know you're good at chin checking because you fought. You brought the whole term chin checking into it, so let me throw it back at you because that's the type of chick you are. This is the type of chick I am. So she basically letting her know, oh yeah, I know you will chin check me because you a ratchet ass fighting ass bitch. And then Ashley had the nerve to, oh, let's not hit below the belt. Let's not go below. Ashley, stop. Stop the cap, okay? Stop the bullshit. You have gone as low as they can go, okay? So, again, you don't like Stacy. You need a storyline, so you're going to target her. She actually had the nerve to say in her confessional, Ashley, I don't like that she's hitting below the belt like that, going low. It honestly makes me want to chin check her on 100. Girl, you ain't gonna do shit. Because when Robin walked up in Oz season 2 with her finger in your face, get your finger out of my face, Robin. You ain't do shit. Then Robin doubled down at the season 2 reunion. Oh, I can't stand her. She lucky I got a crowd around here or I'll whoop her phony ass. You ain't do shit. So what you gonna chin check, Ashley? Really, what you gonna chin check? Anyway, so that was the episode. So if I had to rate it, I would give it like an 8.5, 9. Lots happened in that one scene, but again, this is another episode that's just tying the story together. So nothing explosive, nothing monumental, but definitely, carrying the story along, kind of, showing the strengths and weaknesses of the players involved. And I'm wishing my girl Angel the best. Tap in, girl. Get it together, because I see the dilemma you have. You got to figure out who's with you and who's against you and how you should move. Stacy, don't change. Love you. Ashley and Giselle, even if I wanted to be mad at y'all, I can't. y'all have already proven who you are. You guys are the vets, so you can have it. Wendy, everything you're dealing with, may God be with you, because you need God. I hate that this happened. And this was such a good episode for you. I tried my best to, like I said, assess based on things happening in real time, not tying in what's going on right now, but real time meaning when they filmed. And I'm just going to, let Wendy have that. And then who else am I missing? Oh, Kiarna. Girl, I see you, okay? I think you're gorgeous. I'm not taking that away from you. But I see the type of chick you are. Kilolo. All right, y'all. On that note, I'm going to leave you. I hope you enjoyed the recap. Can't wait to see my girl Monique Mayweather Samuels. But on that note, I'm going to leave you. Peace and blessings. Happy Monday again, y'all. Bye.